Picture this for a second. You're managing a thriving online community. The exact second a brand new member joins your Slack workspace, an intelligent assistant wakes up, automatically researches their background, figures out exactly how well they fit your commercial products, and then drops a beautifully formatted, customized dossier right into your private channel. Sounds like magic, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely breaking down the exact step-by-step process of building a smart Slack AI agent from scratch and then deploying it to the web using Render. We are taking a raw concept and literally turning it into a production-ready lead scoring machine. This is a totally beginner-friendly path from zero to a live app, so let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a clear sequential path today. First up, local setup and database. Second, configuring environment variables. Third, customizing the AI prompt. And fourth, deploying to Render.
Phase 1, local setup and database, laying the foundation.
Okay, so every great automation needs a solid foundation, right? It needs a place to securely store its memory. Because think about it, otherwise all our AI's hard work just vanishes the second the app restarts. To handle this, we're going to use Render's dashboard to spin up a PostgreSQL database. And look, if you've never spun up a database before, please don't worry. It literally takes a few clicks. You just navigate over to your Render workspace, click New Postgres, and give it a unique name, something simple, like SlackDB. You can actually just leave the user field completely blank so it auto-generates. Make sure you select the free tier option for testing and hit Create. Bam! Within seconds, Render provisions your database and hands you an external database URL. That URL? That's the golden ticket your application needs to read and write data. But where exactly do we put that golden ticket URL? You absolutely never want to hard-code credentials directly into your application files. Anyone looking at your code could just swoop in and steal them. No way. That is exactly why we create what's called a .env file. This is a hidden configuration file that sits right in the root directory of your local project. It acts kind of like a hidden file. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a highly secure vault. It's the very first thing we create in our local development environment, and we securely paste our brand new database URL right inside it. So, with our secure vault ready to go, let's grab our tools using npm. First, we need Express for our web server. Then .env, which actually allows our app to read that secret vault we just made. We'll grab Axios to fetch data from the web, and then we bring in the real heavy hitters, LangChain and OpenAI. These two are going to act as the brain of our operation. Finally, we install Slack Bolt, which is the official framework that makes listening and posting to Slack an absolute breeze.
Moving right along to Phase 2, configuring environment variables, giving the agent its credentials.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it takes a daunting list of API keys and organizes them into 3 highly manageable buckets. Because let's face it, our app needs keys to talk to Slack, to OpenAI, and to actually understand our business. So in your .env file, you'll collect your Slack configuration from the Slack API dashboard. This includes your bot token, which usually starts with XOXB, your app token starting with XAPP, your signing secret, and the specific ID of the private channel where you want the bot to post its dossiers. Next bucket, you grab your OpenAI API key from the OpenAI developer platform. But that third bucket, that's where you truly bring this tool to life for your specific needs, your app and business configuration. This business context bucket is absolutely crucial. It's where you inject your unique identity into the local environment. For example, in the source project we're looking at, the developer defines the node environment as development, sets the server port to 3000, and specifically outlines the company name as Code with Anna and the product as Coding Courses. This is just a brilliant setup, because the AI logic will eventually pull these exact variables to customize its background research. Let's talk briefly about that port 3000 number. When you start your app locally, it's going to listen on this specific port. Think of this as your safe local testing ground. By running your app on localhost 3000, you can simulate fake Slack member joins. You can make sure your database connects, verify your API keys are valid, and check that your AI is formatting the data correctly. And you do all of this before you ever push a single line of code to the live internet. Phase 3, customizing the AI prompt, programming the agent's brain. Okay, here's where the real magic happens for lead scoring, right inside the LangChain chat prompt template. The core of it reads, analyze this new community member for fit with our commercial product. Provide a JSON response with a fit score from 0 to 100. This prompt forces the AI to act as a dedicated researcher. It considers the user's name, their email domain, job title, and the background research our app already scraped from their GitHub or company website. But most importantly, it demands the output strictly in JSON format so our code can parse it reliably every single time.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why those business context variables we set up earlier were so important. If the prompt just used generic placeholders, the AI wouldn't have a clue what constitutes a good fit. But by dynamically injecting the company name, Code with Anna, and the specific product focus, coding courses, the AI knows exactly what to look for. Think about it. A senior software engineer looking to learn might score a solid 85 for a coding course, but they would score terribly if you were selling, say, industrial farming equipment. The more specific you make your niche variables, the more insanely accurate the AI's fit score will be. We are commanding GPT-4 to return a very precise JSON structure. We want that numerical fit score from 0 to 100. We want an array of 3 to 5 key insights explaining why they got that specific score, and we want an array of 2 to 4 specific engagement recommendations, basically telling us exactly how to approach this lead. Because this data is formatted so cleanly, our Node app can effortlessly inject it right into Slack's block kit framework to make it look beautiful. We could even add conditional logic to the UI. For example, if the score comes back at 80 or above, the Slack alert color bar turns bright green. If it's below 40, it turns red. So I want you to think about your own community for a second. What unique criteria does your specific business need to check for a perfect customer fit? Maybe it's checking if their company size is over 500 employees. Or maybe you need to see if they have VP in their job title. Because you have complete 100% control over this LangChain prompt template, you can tailor the AI's research parameters to match your exact sales or community strategy perfectly.
Finally, phase 4, deploying to render, pushing the bot live.
All right, so our bot works perfectly locally, but now we need a cloud application that listens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To do this efficiently, we use a really cool feature called render blueprints. Now, if you are new to cloud deployment, the whole concept of infrastructure as code might sound super intimidating, but it's actually incredibly straightforward. A blueprint is just a simple text file, specifically a YAML file, that sits right in your project folder. It simply tells the cloud provider exactly what web services to build, what start commands to run, and what environment variables to expect.
The truly beautiful thing about this approach is that whenever you update a blueprint, Render automatically redeploys any affected services to apply the new configuration. This means your render.yaml file acts as a single source of truth for your entire app. As your infrastructure grows over time, maybe you decide to add a Redis cache or a background worker later on, you manage it all from this one single file instead of clicking endlessly through dozens of confusing cloud menus.
Let's see how this all builds out into our final deployment pipeline. Step 1. You push your completed local project up to a public or private GitHub repository. Step 2, you head over to the render dashboard and create a new blueprint instance, connecting it straight to that GitHub repo. Step 3, ensure your render.yaml configuration file is sitting there in the root folder. Step 4 is absolutely critical. Render will prompt you to securely paste in all those environment variables we discussed earlier, your Slack tokens, your OpenAI key. Remember, that .env file stays securely on your local computer. It never goes to GitHub, so you have to give Render those keys manually in the dashboard. And finally, step 5, hit deploy. Render syncs your code, provisions the server, and boom, suddenly your bot is live. So the crucial point is that hosting an intelligent, always-on web service like this does require a little bit of actual server power. Running this web service tier on Render generally costs about $7 a month. However, for those of you just wanting to learn and experiment, there are very often free credits available to test out your architecture without making any upfront commitment.
And just like that, you've gone from a totally empty folder to a fully deployed AI-powered Slack assistant that researches and scores leads in real time. Think about what we just did. You've set up a database, mastered environment variables, engineered a custom GPT-4 prompt, and successfully deployed infrastructure as code. Now that your AI agent is live and gathering intelligence for you around the clock, what complex automation are you going to build next? The foundation is entirely yours. Keep experimenting, keep building, and we'll see you in the next explainer.